This is what it is, okay? You know what it is. You have to do the right thing. You have to go home to the family, you understand?
I'm not saying you got to go back there this minute, but you got to go back.
If you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping.
Fresh off the Plizzane. You know my dang name.
You cheating some of them.
Look, man, I'm all excited over here, and you look like you scared.
Boy, stop. He ain't never scared. If you not stewing, what in the hell are you doing?
Exactly what I'm saying.
What do you mean?
We don't have time to get back into that right now, but...
Oh, yeah, we had a big, huge blow-up here about LeBron James and Steph Curry.
You just chose sides.
Yeah.
Okay, all right,
yeah, but the equation, the argument that we were having had more to do with LeBron's place right now, where he is in his career.
Oh, that's what
I'm saying he's on the way downhill. He's not the best player in basketball right now.
All right, here's where it went downhill. When you see Black, when you see Black on national TV.
Golden Girls.
What's the Golden Girls, right?
Freudian slip.
That voice you hear is Naughty Dread.
When you see Black on national TV getting coached by the assistant coach,
right,
it's a situation.
Stupendous Saturday to you, Doug Stewart, Ron Stewart, the Two Live Stews, 640 WGST. Yes, sir. The Two Live Stews, the return of the Two Live Stews, man. And how you doing, man?
Shouts out to Bruce Hagan, the people's lawyer. Personal injury is all that he does. Talking about 30 years of experience and more from his office. 445-227-5553. Shouts out to the people's lawyer. Thank you so much, Bruce. I'm doing great, sir. This is the first time in 3 years and 4 months that I come in here and spend some time with you, having done more work than you have in the previous week.
Your
show is 2 hours.
Right.
Your show is 2 hours.
So I do 12 hours a week.
I did 12. No, your show is 2 hours, so you do 10 hours a week.
That's right, 5 days, right?
Right. Hello, it's simple multiplication.
I wasn't good at that.
Hello.
Right.
Well, I did 12. I did 12 this week, and I'm about to get 13 right here, man.
Oh, yeah?
And I'm feeling good, sir.
Yeah, okay.
I'm feeling good, man.
I listened to the show, man. It was fantastic. You and Rick Kamla on 92.9 The Game, and I mean, you didn't miss a beat, man. It's kind of like riding a bike, though.
It is kind of like riding a bike.
When I started doing the DougStewartShow.com, man, I mean, I was back in the groove after about an hour doing the show.
Right.
So, great job, sir.
Didn't take me that long, man. I really, really appreciate it. And the only thing that I didn't like was that I missed the Doug Stewart Show those 3 days.
Right,
That's it. That's the only thing I didn't like.
Right.
Other than that, man, had the time of my life, man.
Yeah.
And you know what? Rick treated me better than you do, man. For the record, Rick treated me better than you do, and he's no blood or anything, man.
But Rick doesn't have the history with you that I do. I mean, Rick didn't raise you from a pollywog to a bullfrog.
That's probably part of the reason why it was better treatment.
Rick didn't body slam you on your neck every other day.
I'm saying, man, look,
Rick didn't put you in the figure 4 leg lock and turn you into a man like I did every day.
I always put blood before water, man. But I just want to put this out here, man.
Right.
If they were to put me in a room and put you on one scale and Rick on the other, man, I'm not sure which way the scale would tip.
Yeah, whatever, man. Yeah, whatever. This is the Two Live Stews. Doug Stewart, Ron Stewart, 640 WGST, man. As we do every single week, man, for the last 20 weeks, is we recap the prior week in sports and entertainment. So we got 10 the Stew-way, the 10 biggest stories this past week, as well as the Funky Four. Well, it's just not really a Funky Four. There's a funky one, and it's not even this week. But you know what I mean. We're going to talk a little bit about the Super Bowl. Speaking of which, man, Cam Newton, he's on the TV screen right now in the studio.
My goodness.
This past week, he's been the talk of the town.
My goodness.
And you know what I kind of get? We do the show from Atlanta. We're based in Atlanta. We did the Two Live Stews from Atlanta for the last 15 years. I kind of get people in Atlanta and Atlanta natives are kind of conflicted about this whole Cam Newton thing. It's kind of like they want to root for him because he's from Atlanta, but then he's in the same division as the Atlanta Falcons.
Therein lies the problem, sir.
So they kind of conflicted about the whole thing.
I'm not conflicted because I'm not an Atlanta fan.
Right.
But I want that boy's greatness to continue to rise.
Oh, my gosh.
And what I've seen the past 2 weeks from that young man is absolutely amazing.
And it's absolutely crazy. He came out and talked about the position that he's in and being a black quarterback in the NFL, and obviously some of the narratives about black quarterbacks in the NFL, man. I just want to see the man do Good. I want to see him succeed because he's had so many haters. It's unbelievable.
Do you believe the puppet master got to Ryan Clark and said that it was a cultural situation and not a racism situation? Real quick on that, sir.
Well, I mean,
Walter, clearly that's how you think, but I'm not asking you, Walter.
Well, I actually believe part of that, but I mean, like I said in my show this week, I mean, definitely there's an aspect of the whole story that is race related.
All right.
I mean, definitely.
When I hear culture and I hear racism, the two are synonymous because wherever your culture lies, the culture you grew up in, the culture that you live, that is a direct reflection of your race.
Right.
I don't hear Jared Allen, who is a cowboy, some would call a you-know-what. I don't hear him having any problems when he does things on the field because culturally, racially, he's accepted because of the pigment in his skin. Mm-hmm. It's not the same way for Cam.
Yeah. Cam definitely is getting really killed in the media.
Real quick, one more thing, man, before we move on.
And you're listening to the Two Live Stews.
Shout out to Sincere Creative, who's in the building filming the show today. We're about to put some hot video out on these streets. But I'm getting to the point now, man, where I'm about to digress on one thing that I have stood firm on the entire 20 weeks we've done this show.
Okay.
The debate or conversation between LeBron James and Stephen Curry. I'm getting to the point now, man, where
for the record, you think LeBron's still the best player.
I would still take LeBron.
Right, I don't understand how you could do that, though.
I am getting to the point now where
I don't get it.
And I'm not changing my stance, but I'm getting to the point now where I think my eyes may have been opened a tad bit more to the situation.
Why? What happened this week?
The Spurs game.
Right. They've been killing everybody. They beat the Spurs, they beat the Bulls, and they beat the Cavs by 30 points each.
This young man, I'm sorry. Two Live Stews on 640 AM. This young man had 37 points in 3 quarters.
Yeah.
Sit him down in the fourth. If you let him stay in there, he's going for 50.
Yeah. I mean,
and it's easy.
I don't know what you're watching. Why is he not the best player in basketball?
Well, I think LeBron has more tools.
What tools?
He's a better defender. So there's two sides of the court.
Steph isn't a bad defender.
Well, he's not.
One of the league leaders of steals every year.
He's not better than LeBron when it comes to defending.
I mean, listen, LeBron's a fantastic player. It's almost like 6 in one hand, a half dozen in the other, however that saying goes. But right now, it's Steph's time.
6 in one hand. So if I put 6 in and half,
it's Steph's time.
Can you break that down? Break that down. 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other.
They're very similar. As a matter of fact, they're damn near the same. They're even.
So
the same thing.
If I put 6 in this hand and a half dozen in this hand, it's still 6.
Come on, man. Right. you grew up in the country. You heard these
that one went over my head. That one went over my head.
Unless it's a baker's dozen.
You came up with all these types of sayings your entire life,
man. The cadre in the building with the stews.
Stupendous Saturday to you, man. The return of the Two Live Stews, 640 WGST, as well as iHeartRadio. I just talked a little bit about my show, The Doug Stewart Show. We had a phenomenal week. Shouts out to all of the Stewies. You can listen to The Doug Stewart Show Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. online at TheDougStewartShow.com.
Do you get bored or do you find yourself talking to yourself?
That's pretty much what I'm doing.
Yes.
I tell people all the time, a lot of people think it's easy just to come on and do talk radio.
You got to be somewhat crazy to do it by yourself.
Think about this. Look in your mirror and talk to yourself for 2 hours and see how entertaining it can be.
I've done 2 shows.
Right.
In my 15-year career, I've done 2 shows by myself. And I hate it.
Well, I mean, because we're used to doing the show back and forth, and it was kind of strange for me when I first started doing my show. I've done over 430 shows.
Wow.
By myself with the Doug Stewart Show.
Wow.
And so, yeah, you got to be kind of crazy to talk to your own damn self.
To make it make sense.
To make it make sense
Yeah.
and to be entertaining and to make it flow and not have a bunch of gaps in it and, pauses where you don't say anything. You got to keep talking.
You do a good job.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You do a good job.
I appreciate it.
You do a good job.
All right, when we get back from the break, man, 10 the Stew Way. Once again, the 10 biggest stories from this past week in the world of sports and entertainment.
How you telling jokes to yourself and then turning around and laughing at your jokes?
Yeah. I laugh.
There's a high level of crazy involved with that situation.
I sing. I mean, sometimes I'm in there and I'm
Who you
dancing.
singing to? Yourself.
I'm singing to the listeners.
Well, yourself.
Well, I'm singing to myself, but the listeners love when I sing.
Okay.
I should have brought one of my tracks from my show.
One of your tracks?
Why I sing.
Who are you, R. Kelly?
Oh, yeah. R. Kelly ain't got nothing on me, man. All right, don't go away. This is the return of the Two Live Stews, 640 WGST. What is ID Life? Well, over the last 18 years, a group of scientists and doctors have been working on the development of a one-of-a-kind nutritional supplement program that takes all the guesswork out of what you need and delivers your truly personalized pharmaceutical-grade nutrition with your name on it directly to your door. Through the integration of thousands of medical and scientific studies, answers you provide to the free assessment, and more than 5,470 algorithms that process the data, ID Nutrition recommends what you need, leaves out what you don't, and blocks things known to the system that have possible adverse effects based on the answers you provide. The result is a program that is revolutionizing the health and wellness industry. Welcome to ID Life. For more information, just go to thedougstewartshow.idlife.com. That's thedougstewartshow.idlife.com. The world's heavyweight champions of sports and guy talk radio, the Two Live Stews.
Yeah.
Doug Stewart, Ron Stewart, 640 WGST. Happy Saturday to ya.
Shouts out to the good folks at Halcyon Organics, halcyonorganics.com. I'm a firm believer that this CBD oil lubricates my joints that are all really, really bad. They've suppressed
You Nipsey Russell? You the Tin Man or something?
They've suppressed the constant headaches that I deal with from my former career, and I appreciate the good folks at Halcyon Organics.
Shouts out to the Honda Battle of the Bands going down at the Georgia Dome this weekend. Today, as a matter of fact. Shouts out to them South Carolina State Bulldogs going to take away the title of the day.
I fell into Boogaloo last night.
Okay, off of Ponce.
Oh, my gosh. I don't want to give them no free advertisement because they don't pay.
It was off the chain?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
You know, I don't do that. So
Right.
I was very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't really kick it like that.
Yeah, I was very uncomfortable, but it was great. It was a good look.
All right, so let's go ahead and start out the the stew with the cadre.
It's Cadre.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The great Naughty Dread.
All right, let's go and get
What
into
up,
this
Naughty?
thing.
How you doing, bro?
Oh, man, same suit, just reheated, man.
Right. Okay.
Last week, we had the conference championship games. In the AFC, Denver defeated New England Patriots for the second time this season, but with a different quarterback. Peyton Manning managed the game well. At this stage of his career, is Peyton Manning the best game manager you've seen in the Super Bowl, Doug?
No, not the best. The best game manager I ever seen, man, was Trent Dilfer. You remember the Ravens won the Super Bowl, man, 34-7.
I couldn't disagree more.
Trent Dilfer, man, in that game, the Super Bowl, Trent Dilfer's stats were 12 completions for 153 yards and 1 touchdown. Did you just hear what I said?
I heard.
In the Super Bowl, the starting quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens was Trent Dilfer. He went 12 completions only for 153 yards, and they won 34-7. And whenever people start talking about game managers, Trent Dilfer's name is always the first one out.
Game managing, and you are happy with 153 yards? You can't manage the game to get you over 200 yards?
Right. He's a game manager.
So maybe my problem is, or my question is, the definition of game manager.
A guy that basically doesn't lose you the game. He doesn't make any plays to help win you the game per se. They rely on the defense. They rely on another facet of the team to win. It's not really the quarterback.
Super Bowl 21, Phil Simms led the Giants to 24 straight points with no incomplete passes in the second half when they came into the second half being down by like 9. Mm-hmm. He managed the game, and he put up numbers while managing the game. Didn't throw any interceptions, didn't throw any complete passes. Steve Young, Super Bowl 29, he threw 6 TD passes and was the leading rusher for the team with 49 yards.
He's not a game manager. I think you misunderstand the definition of a game
clearly
manager.
Clearly I do.
Right. Steve Young ain't never been no damn game manager. Steve Young was a playmaker. I mean, to the highest degree.
A game manager is pretty much what Peyton Manning has been this whole playoff.
Right.
He's a guy who's in there who won't lose you the game.
He won't lose the game.
But you don't expect him to throw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. He's relying on the running game and the defense.
This is one of the dumbest questions we've ever had in sports talk history. Let's move on, Naughty. This is ridiculous.
Denver's defense beat on Tom Brady like Goodell should have, causing Brady to throw multiple picks while completing less than half of his passes. And then the running game New England had didn't fare any better. Ryan, we've seen the 99 Bucks defense led by Warren Sapp. We've seen those Ravens defenses in the early 2000s. And recently we've seen Seattle's great defenses. How does Denver's defense stack up to the top defenses of the past 20 years?
This defense is under the radar and deserves a whole lot more respect than they're getting. But if I rank top defenses, I put this Denver defense fourth behind the 2011 49ers defense, the 2013 Seattle defense that Nadi just mentioned, and the
49er defense that didn't win a Super Bowl?
Yes.
Obviously, they hadn't won a Super Bowl lately.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And then the third defense would be the Broncos from 2014. And the reason why I put the 49ers first was because of the numbers that the players had.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go through all of them.
Right, we can't. We only got a couple
It
minutes.
was Navarro Bowman, Patrick Willis,
yeah.
Deshaun Golston, Justin Smith, Alden Smith. I mean, they were bananas.
I think you're doing too much of CBD all this today, man. Because
It's CBD oil.
I think almost like a caveat to this question got to be they have to have won a Super Bowl, man.
But that wasn't in the question.
Well, that's true. I mean, you think very deeply. You like George Wallace. You be thinking, right?
So you can't change the questions on the fly.
I'm not changing the
Answer
question.
the question, man.
You're right. I just threw that in there. You're listening to the Two Lives Truth. I would say the 2002 Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, man. You got two guys in the Hall of Fame already, in Derek Brooks and Warren Sapp. Then you talk about John Lynch, who's probably going to be in the Hall of Fame. Then you talk about Booger McFarland. They had Simeon Rice. They were dominant that year. Okay, just for namesake alone,
That's good.
They were dominant.
That's very
I'm
good.
2-0 in these tennis two ways.
That's
Go
very
ahead,
good.
Nadi.
You're 2-0, but right now you're 2-0, man. I agree because y'all have sent some questions that are kind of deceiving.
They're too confusing.
But you're 2-0. But Rick Kamla is tipping the scale. All right, go ahead. That's fine.
And you're listening to the Two Live Stews.
Well, in the NFC, Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers got it done by touching up on the Cardinals. They nearly put up a 50-piece on them folk. Carson Palmer tossing 4 balls to the other team. Doug, are the Panthers that good, or was Palmer just that awful?
I think the Panthers are good, but I would have to go, if you're talking about this question, Palmer is just that awful. And I'm holding 2 thumbs down to the ground. He sucks.
That's 1 thumb.
Great, Nadi, or Walter. That was good. Man, the dude was absolutely terrible. And this is the Carson Palmer that we've seen throughout his career. And I remember you came in here a couple of weeks ago. This is a bad look for you, man. This is 3 questions in a row. You came in here a couple of weeks ago.
this one yet.
You came up in here a couple of weeks ago just singing the praises of Carson Palmer. I was like, Carson Palmer sucked his whole life.
I wasn't singing no praises of Carson Palmer.
He's basically just been overrated his entire life. The first pick in the draft, he ain't done nothing in the NFL. And the Carson Palmer that I know and love showed his face last week.
How you urinate on a guy that threw for 4,600 yards is just, it blows my mind.
But you know what? When the lights were bright, he basically cowered.
Palmer played bad, sir, but the Panthers dominated that ball game. They passed for 100 more yards than Arizona. They got more rushing yards than Arizona by almost 100 yards. They had 100 more yards receiving than Arizona. Mm-hmm. Carolina had 0 fumbles. The Cardinals had 3. You know me. We've done this for a long time.
Carson Palmer was throwing Matt Ryan picks last week,
The
man.
team that wins the game, in my eyes, has worked for the win. You can't say that somebody else gave. They worked for that win.
Right.
So as bad as Palmer played, Carolina played better. They deserve the answer of that question.
The bad part about seeing a veteran quarterback like Carson Palmer and Matt Ryan throw the types of picks that they have this year, man, is just because of that. You can't throw the ball to the other team.
You cannot.
I mean, we learned that in Pee Wee football.
In Pee Wee.
And it's crazy how you can be an NFL quarterback for so long, but make the throws that dude did last week.
Let me go one more place with this before we move on to the next question, Nadi. Off your comments alone just now, remember that everybody's blaming the kicker for the Patriots for the loss because he missed that extra point.
Right.
Tom Brady threw 2 interceptions in that ball game.
Right.
Peyton did not. That's the difference. Not the kicker who should have made the kick, but the quarterback who threw the picks.
You're listening to the Two Live Stews.
Well, Luke, he could have got another pick 6, Ryan. He's been playing on a super high level lately. Is he the best linebacker in the league right now?
I have him. I have him in a puddle of 3 people.
Okay.
Khalil Mack, 15 sacks this past year.
He's a defensive end, though, ain't he?
He's a linebacker.
They run a 3-4.
Khalil Mack is a linebacker.
He made the Pro Bowl at both.
And that's our team. So
oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. He made it a DN and linebacker.
That's my team.
Right.
You should know that information.
Right.
Von Miller, 11 sacks. And Luke Kuechly with 118 tackles and 4 interceptions, only 1 sack. I had a hard time trying to pick who's the best out of those 3.
Yeah, but that's the question's asking you. You put him in a puddle.
I'm going Von Miller.
I'm going Von Miller. You would take Von Miller over Luke Kuechly?
If he's sober and not high, I'm going Von Miller.
What do you mean by that?
Come on, man.
He had that little issue. Why you got to bring up old stuff? The man's trying to move past that.
It wasn't a little issue.
The man's trying to move past that little incident.
Listen, drugs has played an important part of that man's life while he's been in the league up until this year. In the last game, the post-game press conference, his eyes were white as snow for the first time I've ever seen him in my life. I want that Von Miller on my team.
It's not even close, man. Luke Kuechly is the best linebacker in the NFL. And not just because of the great plays that he makes, but because this guy is an overall leader. He's a guy that makes plays where a lot of other linebackers that we've seen in the NFL would just make a simple play. He's the type of guy that strips footballs. He makes interceptions. He scores touchdowns. He does so much more than a guy that just goes out there and make 10 or 12 tackles a game.
He got 1 sack, though, man.
Yeah. But they don't blitz him a lot. That's the scheme.
Well, and because he drops in coverage a lot. That's a good point.
I mean, Von Miller, we forget about Justin Houston, a former Georgia player for the Kansas City Chiefs.
There's several guys that have honorable mention.
Right. There's a bunch of great NFL linebackers, man, but nobody does for their defense. And it's kind of like a coach in the field more than Luke Kuechly.
Well, I want Von Miller.
Huh?
Drug-free. I want him.
Okay. All right. So there you have it.
Well, they both in the Super Bowl, which means they won't be in the Pro Bowl this weekend. And we all know that's more like glorified two-hand touch. And the NBA just had their All-Star selection, which will be in a couple weeks. Which All-Star game is more intriguing to you, Doug?
It's not even close, man. The NBA All-Star game. Because in the NFL, it's a facade. It's not even real. Nobody's trying to get hurt out there. I don't know why they just don't get rid of the NFL Pro Bowl. We'll talk about that in a second.
That game doesn't
matter. But definitely
matter.
the NBA.
The game you're talking about doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The baseball All-Star game matters. It determines home field for who gets to play to the World Series.
Yeah.
So that's why I chose MLB.
Okay. All right. Second half of 10 the Steway coming up next with the 2 Live Stews on 640 WGST. Don't go away.
Yeah.
Do you have your own radio show? Are you an artist or a DJ? BB Mobile Apps is the solution for you. They specialize in creating mobile apps for entertainers. That's right. You can have your own mobile app where your followers can hear your shows or music, watch your videos, and view all your social networks in one place. You can even make money with banner ads and send push notifications directly to your audience to make sure they get your messages. Everyone has their phones on them, right? A mobile app will add credibility to your brand because your content will be accessible to them while they're on the go. BV Mobile Apps also makes apps for bloggers, actors, and producers. The process only takes about 20 minutes. Just go to bvmobileapps.com and click Get Started Now. That's bvmobileapps.com and tell them the Doug Stewart Show sent you.
At Ticket Liquidator, we believe you should have access to the experiences you want to be a part of. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers with the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. Ticket Liquidator's nationwide network gives you access to one of the largest online inventories of sports, theater, and concert tickets, with prices lower than most companies in other markets. And our security policies are solid, so you can buy with absolute confidence. More tickets, better service, and lower prices, so you can witness the best entertainment, culture, and sports events worldwide. At Ticket Liquidator, we know that seeing a legend bring down the house or watching your team win the championship is about more than a ticket. It's about being there. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, call us at 855-638-3034. Again, that's 855-638-3034.
If you're not stewing, what the heck are you doing? This is the return of the 2 Live Stews. Doug Stewart, Ryan Stewart, 640 WGST.
If you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping.
Very true.
What
Very
a
true
great
statement.
Song, man. and Cam has haters.
Why don't they just get rid of the Pro Bowl, man? And they used to do a skills competition until 2007.
Then Robert Edwards tore his hip up.
Yeah.
And that did it.
And I'm not saying do a little flag football game on the beach like what happened with Robert Edwards. I'm saying like passing contest, run a 100-yard dash, see who the fastest man in the NFL is. They used to do that, man. Just get rid of the game.
They ruined my man Robert Edwards' career with that darn whatever that was that they were doing, man.
Beach
Come
football
on,
or whatever.
Man, stop it.
Hey, this is the Two Live Stews, the return of the Two Live Stews on 640 WGST. You ready for the second half of 10 the Stew?
Very excited about it, sir.
Okay.
All right, as I previously mentioned, the NBA All-Star selection is complete. Ryan, do you like the selection process for the All-Stars, specifically the starters?
I hate it because fans are fanatics. And I don't care what y'all say, especially you, Doug, because you're a Laker fan. Mm-hmm. There's no way that the Bean, the way he is playing,
bow
should be
down,
starting.
bow down.
Should be a starter. Should be a starter.
The
There's
game
no
is
way.
for the fans, man. The game isn't for the players. The game isn't for the league. The game is for the fans.
But it's still a recognition of what has happened to this point in the NBA.
Right, and it's also a recognition of your career.
Look,
and
man,
Kobe Bean Bryant has played for 20 years.
Your
How
career,
dare you bow down
what
to
does the
the Bean?
2016 season All-Star game have to do with Kobe's career?
Well,
You're out of your damn mind.
Evidently a lot because the fans voted him in.
Well, see, that's the point. That's the point, man. No,
Right.
He doesn't deserve to be the starter. I understand you want him to have a farewell tour and to be a part of the festivities.
Why has this got to be about Kobe? You're listening to the Two Live Stews. This happens all the time.
That's the best example I could use for this season.
Right. Tim Duncan's probably been an all-star more times than he deserves. It always happens to a guy. Kevin Garnett probably shouldn't have been an all-star for the last 4 or 5 years,
It's
but he has been.
2016, man. We're not talking about Garnett. It's 2016.
I don't have a problem with it, man. This game is for the fans. It's not serious. There's nothing on the line for it. Pay homage. Bow down to something greater than yourself.
I knew you would say something about Kobe, and why am I talking about Kobe?
Right.
I disagree with D. Wade being a starter and with Melo being a starter.
Okay, there we go. Be impartial, man.
Their numbers don't
Impartial.
represent. Their numbers don't represent an all-star that should be starting in the NBA.
Right.
All right, Nadi, I'm done.
Well, with that being said, Doug,
Yes, sir.
give us your All-Star snubs from both conferences.
From the Western Conference, everybody's talking about Damian Lillard. And he's a fantastic player, man, scoring 24.3 points per game, dishing out 7.1 assists per game. The problem with Damian Lillard and the reason why he didn't make the All-Star game is because he plays for Portland, and their brand isn't that big. And in the Eastern Conference, man, I think Al Horford should have been an All-Star. And listen, this, once again, is what you look for. The Hawks haven't been as good of a team this year, and so I think that kind of hurts their image and how we look at them this year in the NBA. But Al Horford, Damian Lillard, man, could definitely be All-Stars. Maybe even Paul Gasol.
I agree with the Damian Lillard call, so I'll go someplace else when it comes to the West. Rondo in Sacramento deserves to be an All-Star, man. He's averaging a double-double.
Did you see the little pic on social media of Rondo drawing up the play for Sacramento? Rondo's like really coming into his own as far as a leader, man.
Whose turn is this, Doug?
Oh, my bad.
You just literally urinated on everything I was about to say, man. I appreciate it, so I'll move on to somebody else. Also in the West, Dirk, man. Last year, Dirk averaged 17 and 3, 17 points and 5 rebounds. This year, he's averaging more.
Wait a minute. You just talked about old-ass Kobe Bryant. Now you letting in 78-year-old Dirk Nowitzki?
He's still effective in the league. He's still balling. All right, in the East, you said Gasol, so I won't go there. Kemba Walker, man, he deserves to be an All-Star, but
Yeah.
like you said for Lillard, he's in Charlotte, so
Right.
who cares about Charlotte?
Charlotte is like 27 games out of first place, man.
And my throwaway
Uh-huh.
for the All-Star game, man,
And you're
is
listening to the 2 Live Stews.
Porzingis from the Knicks. Porzingis deserves. Cut that off.
Wait a minute.
Cut that off.
All right. For the record, Ryan is a New York Knicks fan. I still don't understand how, but
14 points and 7 boards. His defensive presence have changed what's going on in New York, and the dude can play.
I like Porzingis, but
The big dude can play. He plays like a small dude.
yeah, but he's not an all-star. Now, you know what? After this year, he'll probably be an all-star for the next 15 years. Yeah, he has game like that, but no, not this year.
Well,
man.
And Phil I trust.
He'll be at the All-Star game and a rookie game.
And Phil like
Yeah.
that's a good point too. So he's
Exactly.
still going to get
Yeah,
there.
he'll still be there.
All right, Nadi.
And you're listening to the 2 Live Stews.
That's your contribution for the day, Nadi.
In local news, the Birds now have 5 guys with general manager experience in the front office. Now there's a report in the AJC that Dan Quinn will help Dimitrov pick the groceries, so to say. How much trust does the Falcons organization have in Dimitrov, Ryan?
For him to still be here,
I'm going to see what you say about this. I got a very interesting
for him to
thought
still
on
be
this.
here, they trust him. And for him to still be here, that means that Dan Quinn wants him. But I went back and did some numbers, man, from 2008 to 2012.
Uh-huh.
Because you can't look at the 2013 class and put them in here yet because their body of work isn't complete yet for
Right.
you to consider the draft.
And you're listening to the 2 Live Stews.
I went through every pick, and I gave Thomas Dimitroff 18 wins and 20 losses out of the players that he's drafted from 2008 to 2012. 18 and 20,
Right.
That means you're at 47%
Right.
with your draft picks. And this is somewhat a snub on myself. Guys that were effective special teams players that have given Dan Quinn the nod or given Thomas Dimitroff the nod. Oh, he's a contributor on special teams, so that's a good draft pick too. No.
Right.
Those guys are not in my calculations. Starters on the football field are the only guys that I calculated, and he came out 18 and 20. Do you want your kids to go to school and get 18 out of 20
No.
on any test that they have?
That's an F.
All right.
That's an F.
All right, shoot another load.
Phil Emery, the Falcons hired Phil Emery and Rustin Webster. Both cats have been in the league for a long time as scouts. This almost feels like to me, man, is that Arthur is making one last-ditch effort to improve things around the organization because he likes Thomas Dimitroff. In normal situations, I think Thomas Dimitroff would have been fired. Basically, this is me saying Arthur Blank is giving Thomas Dimitroff one more chance to get it right or his ass is going too.
My people tell me that Thomas Dimitroff is still here because,
They like him.
because of Dan Quinn.
Right. Okay.
Quinn wanted him to be here.
Okay.
And all the people that they're bringing in, and everybody's got a beef with the 5 general managers, that's knowledge and that's power. If Arthur Blank doesn't mind paying 5 general managers to be on the team
Right.
and have different roles, what's the problem with you? Why you care?
And listen, I'm not saying that
And
Thomas Dimitroff.
not you specifically,
Right.
just people.
I'm not saying Thomas Dimitroff isn't a good football guy, but he hadn't had a lot of success, man. It is what it is.
That man is still the reason why my family eats to this day, man. Don't knock him, please.
Well, you got to tell that story. People don't know what you're talking
Thomas Dimitroff was a scout for the Detroit Lions when I got drafted in the 3rd round.
Right.
And I might
That's your dude.
I might have a small stake. I might have a small stake in the reason why his bookie is no longer in Detroit.
Right.
But he moved on to greener pastures.
A big stake, a lot of people would tell you.
I just wasn't focused, man.
Well, in other local news, word on the street is the
Hold on. I'm sorry, Nadi. It sounds like something's on your heart, man.
I wasn't focused, man. I worked my butt off to get there, man. And when I got there, I looked at it as I worked to get here. I'll keep working, but I deserve to enjoy the fruits of my labor, man. Man, I was a whore. I left bags in my car, man. My neighbor had a key to my apartment so the dog would go in and out and would get fed if I didn't come home. There was some times Monday through Friday, man, where I didn't even go to the house.
I was a whore.
I drove around the city, man, and just visited different friends' houses and enjoyed casual sex. I didn't shoot my load. I have multiple.
I hope my nephew's not listening to this.
Me too, man, but I'm going to teach them how to freak responsibly when they get older.
All
Trust me.
right, go ahead, Nadi. I shouldn't even have stopped you. I should just let you go ahead, Nadi. We didn't even need to get all that. That was TMI.
My
Well,
wife
I should know better.
my wife's probably listening too. Met her while I was in Detroit. That's a problem. But hey, I'll deal with it when I get home. Now, please go before I get in more trouble.
Well, look, word on the street is the Hawks are dangling Jeff Teague for a potential trade. Doug, in your opinion, how much value does Teague have when we're talking trade?
Yeah, he has a lot of value. I went on NBA.com. He's a top 10 point guard as they list, and when they rate their point guards. Numbers are a little bit down this year. He's averaging 14.3 points per game, 5.6 assists per game, and shooting 41%. He has tremendous value, and the talk is about him going to New York. That would be a good fit. Jose Calderon's a little bit old. I absolutely love Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder's like 5 years young. He's only 22 years old, man. Go ahead and see what we can get for Jeff Teague, man. Let's let Schroeder run the show.
There's no doubt that Teague is the better player. He is playing through adversity right now with a bad ankle. I think Schroeder's shot is still broken. And
yeah, he needs some work, but
Okay.
his upside is just tremendous.
Here's the upside.
His shot selection sometimes is
It's terrible. It's
Right.
terrible. Here's the kicker. Atlanta outscores opponents by 11 points per 100 possessions when Schroeder has minutes. When Teague plays, the Hawks are actually outscored themselves by 22 points per 100 possessions. So the guy is 5 years younger. Give him 5 years to work with the coach. Then what he's going to do is going to multiply and be an asset to the organization.
Both of those guys are free agents in 2017. Schroeder is restricted, but still, man, if you can get something for Teague, Schroeder could start for half the teams in the NBA. I really do believe that. His game is real nice. He reminds me of Tony Parker, both foreign players, man. I love Schroeder's game, man. I do.
Does Schroeder remind you of Parker?
Not Well, early Tony Parker,
Early.
before Tony Parker was able to
Not
shoot.
the polished Parker.
Not the polished
Okay,
Parker.
all
I'm talking about the guy that penetrates, dishes the ball
Yeah,
to the shooters.
yeah.
A guy that can shoot a little bit himself.
Yeah, and
Parker was never the greatest shooter.
And the good thing about Shooter also, man, he can stand up straight, and his arms are so long he can still tie his shoes.
Okay, they're playing the music.
You
so-
missed that. That went over your head. That's okay. Don't worry
Right,
about
no, I'm trying to handle some business here. We got to go to a break
Don't
here in a
talk to me like
second.
that, man.
We got to go to a break. When we get back, we got to do the 10th question and 10 to Stu A.
it. If you want to, man.
I mean, we got to.
If you want to.
It's about Kanye West and Wiz. I mean, this is a hot topic on my show this week. Booty hole playing and all of that type of stuff.
We appreciate you, Bruce Hagan. 404-522-7553 for a free consultation, personal injury, auto accidents, motorcycle accidents. Bruce has your back. Give him a call.
Don't go away. The 2 Live Stews.
At Ticket Liquidator, we believe you should have access to the experiences you want to be a part of. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers with the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. Ticket Liquidator's nationwide network gives you access to one of the largest online inventories of sports, theater, and concert tickets, with prices lower than most companies in other markets. And our security policies are solid, so you can buy with absolute confidence. More tickets, better service, and lower prices, so you can witness the best entertainment, culture, and sports events worldwide. At Ticket Liquidator, we know that seeing a legend bring down the house or watching your team win the championship is about more than a ticket. It's about being there. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, call us at 855-638-3034. Again, that's 855-638-3034.
Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's Stu for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU.
Kanye West is in another Twitter feud, and the good news is this time it is not with me. Basically what happened was Kanye revealed that he was changing the title of his new album from Swish to Waves. He tweeted new album title, Waves. So then Wiz Khalifa, another rapper, tweeted, please don't take the wave. Max B is the wavy one. He created the wave. There is no wave without him. So Max B is a rapper from Harlem who uses the word wavy to describe his style. And Wiz is apparently concerned that Kanye would co-opt that if he named his album Wave. So Wiz tweeted, hit this KK and become yourself. And now Kanye went nuts when because Wiz has a kid with Kanye's ex, Amber Rose, and Kanye assumed KK stood for Kim Kardashian. So he hit back with a string of angry posts, a lot of them. He's like, oh, that's yay, and I can put his wife's initials on my Twitter, Wiz Khalifa. Bro, first of all, you stole your whole S from Cudi. Second, your first single was corny as F and most thereafter. So Wiz responded, KK is weed, fool.
Hey, man, welcome back to the 2 Live Stews, Doug Stewart, Ron Stewart.
A minor misunderstanding that turns into a huge blow-up.
640 WGST. So you just heard the clip from Jimmy Kimmel talking about this Kanye West, Wiz Khalifa little Twitter beef that they had this week. Nadi, go ahead with the question, man, and we'll give you our thoughts on this story.
And that was from Jimmy Kimmel's show this week. So apparently, both these guys are in a twaddle, which is a twiddle battle.
A twaddle?
Yeah, a twaddle.
You young kids.
I came up with that, actually.
They got too much time.
You came up with that.
I came up with that. I
So
don't
you
think
have
nobody
creative
else.
control for that? Good
better-
job.
As far as I know, I
Okay.
don't know if anybody else.
You better copyright it.
Thought about that, but both guys gained over 100 Twitter followers after the twaddle. Was this a classic case of a misunderstanding going way too far, or was this a publicity stunt?
Doug, you go ahead, sir.
it might be a publicity stunt the more I think about it, man. They said that they got over 400 million
400 million views
on Twitter.
And Wiz gained another 130,000 followers, and Kanye gained another 300,000 followers.
You know what? I like both of these guys, man. Kanye might be, I don't know, maybe a top 20 rapper of all time. Talent-wise, with the music, with the production, everything, man, that might even put him a little bit higher, man. But Kanye West, in the famous words of the great Charlie Murphy, man, is an habitual line stepper. Like, why did he go this far? He sent out like 20 tweets cutting Wiz Khalifa to the white meat.
I think it was 40.
I mean, it's crazy.
Some have been deleted since.
And here's the thing, the big problem I have with Kanye, his 8th tweet directed towards Wiz Khalifa says, I made it so we could wear tight jeans. Bruh, that ain't nothing to brag about.
I don't like that either.
That ain't nothing to brag about.
Oh, you think that's cool?
You think that's live?
Shame on you.
Oh, hell no. You lost the battle for that alone.
My wife bought a pair of skinny jeans for Miles.
What?
And
don't you let your damn son wear no...
As he was trying to pull them up over his little thighs, I said, what the heck is going on around here?
Not my nephew.
Not my boy.
No way. Not
Take
my
him
nephew.
off. Well, they're still so young, it don't matter. They're cute on kids.
Nah.
My kids will not wear tight clothes to expose their little testicles at a young age.
You know, I don't
way.
I don't want my nephew's testicles all squeezed up like that.
Man, please.
I'm sorry.
I do believe, like you, Doug, that this was a publicity stunt. I do believe that these guys.
So you think it was a publicity stunt?
I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt that they collaborated to drum up a situation to go viral.
Kanye was talking about that man child.
About that man children.
Because Amber Rose was his ex-girl.
Right.
I mean, he's just unnecessary.
Can I say BOTTY hole? Can I say that on air?
No, not around here.
No?
I mean, you probably could, but they frown upon that type of stuff around here.
Kanye started talking about how he doesn't allow anybody to do that to him. No way. Insinuating that Wiz does.
Yeah, part of the story.
It got personal, man.
And you're listening to the Two Live Shoes. Let me say this the best way I can.
When grown men start talking about the thing that's inside of your bunkie towards each other, that's a problem.
For people that don't, for people that are listening to the show, and you're listening to the Two Live Shoes that don't know that part of the story, Amber Rose basically jumped into it, which is Wiz Khalifa's wife, Kanye's ex-girlfriend. That Kanye.
If you weren't married and happily married with 3 children, would you give Amber Rose some run?
What? Man, she fine as white wine. I mean, she real fine. But she tweeted out that Kanye, you like for me to play around your anus, the proper term. And Kanye had to come out and refute it. And it was just real messy. No pun intended.
He refuted it.
It was real messy.
Wait a minute. I see what's going on there. Ba-ba-ba. I see what you did.
It was messy.
That was well thought of. That makes me think the way he refuted it, the way he fussed so much about that, that, okay, it's possibly true.
Well, and he was in a no-win situation because on one hand, you shouldn't even dignify that type of thing.
Agreed.
But on the other hand, you have to. you have to respond to that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know about you, man, but back when I was dating, man, if somebody put their hand back there, a chick put their hand back there, I immediately moved to like, no.
Why is Wiz Khalifa kissing this woman who's saying that she put her lips?
Because that woman is Amber Rose. I would kiss her too. Yep, there's not a part of her body that I would not kiss.
It's really tough to talk about this on 640 WGST.
I would massage her
now,
physically and mentally with my, what's the technical term for tongue?
Tizak?
Yes.
You know, okay.
I think we're going to get in trouble for this thing.
You can hear more expansive conversation about this subject on the DougStewartShow.com. Okay? I did a whole 2 segments on this on my show.
The one question Doug comes up with.
The one question Doug brings to the table gets us kicked off the air.
Hey, whatever.
Good job, Doug.
Whatever.
Hey, congratulations to everybody, man. Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah.
Shouts
out to everybody.
Big Head, Naughty.
Waterhead, man. It's
Sincere
Waterhead.
Creative in the building. And Marlon Williams, man, my guy from Tech is in the building. What's your Twitter, Marlon? At Marlon Williams, man. He's trying to help young athletes in college get on the right track, man. So check him out.
Former Georgia Tech star. All right, we got to get out of here, man.
Love God, love each other.
Peace.
The way I'm living, forgiving what I'm giving up.